Hi, thanks for joining me today on my channel. This is Discovering My Money, and I'm going to be talking about budgeting. So you might be in this situation where you've decided you want to start budgeting, but you're like, there's no place I can save money. All my money is accounted for. There's no extra money there, and I don't know what to do. Well, there's lots of little places you can look to find, money, and it might not be a lot. It might just be a few dollars here and there, but once you start adding them up, it can be significant. If you're paying off debt, that can help you pay off one credit card, get that one paid off, and then use all that money to pay off the next credit card. Hopefully you're not into too many credit cards for a lot of debt, but you can apply that then to loans, lines of credit, and so on and so forth. So as you finish off one, and the money that's going towards that first debt, you now add it to the money you're using to pay off on a second card or a second loan, whatever it may be. So these things can add up. Now, if you don't have credit card debt and you don't have um, things like that where you're hopefully going to pay them off and have this extra money. So in my case, I don't have any credit card debt, and I'm still looking for ways that I can save money and put money towards a certain thing that I want in the future, right? So I'm saving for a specific thing. So here are some of the things that I've done, recently, and maybe you can find a few of yourself. Maybe make a comment and let people know if there's something that we missed here that you've done to save money. Go ahead and hit subscribe and like, and I do have a link down below if you're looking at how you can get started with budgeting. All right, so let's dive in here. So one of the things that you can do is streaming services. If you have streaming services and you're signed up for 3 or 4 or 5, why? Especially if you're paying monthly, because they are cheaper yearly. The thing is, you can't watch all of them. So here's what I would do is, if you have 4 or 5, I would unsubscribe to them. Now, if you're in a household where there's multiple people, maybe you need more than one, but sit down and have this kind of talk. Like, what is it that we want to watch, and how can we use it? Because you don't need to have all these stream services. There's no way you're getting your maximum benefit out of them. So what I would do is I sign up for a streaming service. Then I would go and cancel it right away. So don't have it for 1 month. And you say, well, the monthly is more expensive than the yearly. Yes. But if I only watch it 2 months out of the year, it's still cheaper than the yearly, right? And then I go on to the next streaming service. There's only so many shows that I'm going to want to watch. And some households may have this kind of battle going, well, I want to watch this show and I want to watch this show. Okay, we'll take turns. So this month we're going to have this streaming service. Next month we'll have the other streaming service. There's always something else you can watch, and you don't need to have this kind of battle just to have an extra expense. So sign up for it, cancel it right away. If it's a streaming service you end up keeping because you end up having 2, yeah, do the yearly one. Say, oh, this is one we're going to have yearly, and then we're going to have these other ones intermittently. There might be 3 or 4 others, and you don't need to have all of them at the same time. Like, it's mind-boggling because you don't have enough time in the day. All right, so that's one. Now go through your apps. How many apps on your phone do you not use at all, but you're paying for them? Hopefully none, because if you're not using them, you shouldn't be paying for them. And then how many apps do you pay for that you use but you don't really need, right? They're not really doing anything extra for you. You just get rid of them. So go through. Now this is, again, just a $1 here, $1 there, but it's going to add up, right? And you might say, okay, well, I make X amount of dollars, I don't need to save pennies. Well, okay, then why are you looking to find money, right, to save for something? Because the money you have isn't covering all your expenses plus what you want to do, right? So you're trying to find ways to dig that out. So those are a couple small ones that you can do, but there's other things that you might be able to look at doing, and how do you maximize those? All right, so a little while back, yeah, quite a ways back now, I switched accounts. And so what I did is I went from a bank account that was charging me a monthly fee to a bank that had no fees. Now, some of the bells and whistles I did use, and they were beneficial. Like, I got my checks for free. I don't even write checks anymore. I can't remember the last time I was asked to write a check. So why do I need that? I don't. A lot of the other things that were beneficial to this account didn't really make sense to keep around. So I'm paying, I think it was $14 a month. But if I had all these other services, it got knocked to $10 a month. And I like the bank. There was no problem with it, but why do I need to pay fees for an account that doesn't give me any interest, and the benefits that they're allowing me to have don't really benefit me, right? They do, but they don't. So take a look at that. How can you change your account? Now, it is a pain to go and change all of your direct payment accounts and all that stuff. It is a pain for sure, and you can make that excuse till you're blue in the face. Oh, it's such a hassle. But if you're looking to save money, again, $10 a month, it's gonna add to that pile, right? So change your accounts, make them work. Now, the account I switched to at that bank isn't sometimes the handiest, but that's maybe once every 3 to 6 months I have an issue with them, and I get interest on the account. So now I went from paying money to making money. Again, I'm not making a ton of money, but not really doing too bad either. I think $15 interest is what I got from using the account. Not interest, sorry, it was cash back, $15, and I made about $1 of interest from the cash that I held in the account. So I'm not holding a lot of cash in there, but it's paying me instead of charging me. Okay, so we've got a couple of small areas there that we're talking about, but let's dig a little bit deeper. And what else can we do? I'm in the habit of going for coffees in the morning. So I go for coffee, have a breakfast, but I could have a entire breakfast for about the same amount of charge as just the coffee, right? I can have a breakfast for $2 instead of having a breakfast for $10. So on a daily basis, if you're doing coffee, snacks, or anything out at a coffee shop, you're probably putting an extra $5 to $10 of expense on your day. So charge that by 30 days, that's $300 a month. Now we're starting to get into things where you can make small lifestyle changes. And believe me, that morning coffee is definitely something I look forward to. So how can I change that? How can I replace it to something that is equally enjoyable? So I usually cheat on my diet by having a muffin that's full of way too much sugar, so I can improve my health by having something at home that is far better. So I like oatmeal. Maybe you don't like oatmeal, but I like oatmeal, so I jazz it up a bit. I do some fruit and nuts on it, and then I also put a little protein powder on it to give me, a little bit of a boost energy that I'm maybe not getting from the coffee that I usually get. And that is such a good way to improve my health, but also save me quite a few dollars. Now, when I'm talking the protein powder that I put on it, it's not a lot, right? I'm just putting a bit on it, but I do find that it kind of does replace the coffee as far as the energy boost, not to the same degree, but it doesn't kind of leave me dragging. And then having the fruit and nut toppings on my oatmeal is it's nice. I like it. And maybe you won't like that. Maybe you do something else. I've done yogurt kind of mix in the past. That was good. You could try and experiment different ways to eat at home, which would be healthier but also cheaper than going out to the coffee shop, and find that little thing that is enjoyable, right, for you, and then save yourself some money. Okay, so that's a really simple one, and it's actually quite a bit of money every month, right? So the other ones were kind of small. This is getting a little bit bigger. We can do things like, now if you're like me and you can tell I'm not really a groomer. My beard is not groomed to the T, although I'd like to have a certain control over it, but not to the point where I'm worried about it. So I've gone and done things like shaving my own beard, cutting my own hair. Now, it's not easy, but things like that where I can save a few dollars. Why pay somebody a whole bunch of money when I'm really not going to take the time to do my hair special every day? It's not a priority for me. And there might be things in your life like that where you're like spending money. I know people spend over $200 on a haircut every couple weeks, and they get the dye and this and that and the other thing. And maybe you need that. Maybe that's part of your whole psyche. Maybe it's part of your look. Maybe it's part of your culture, whatever, with your friends and stuff, like it's just that thing. And I get that maybe there is no way to cut back on it, but maybe there is. Like instead of spending $250, maybe you can get it down to $150 or $100, or you could do it yourself and spend no money on it. Now, again, these are things that I've done that have changed my whole perspective and gone that way. More extreme. When I went back to school, I no longer had a car, right? There's kind of a long term for realization that a car was an expense that just wasn't fitting into my budget. And I realized I don't use my car as much as I need to. And what I was using it for was not bringing me in as much money as it was putting out. So I got rid of my car and I went to busing and biking. And I don't have young kids, so I don't need to have the car. So that is definitely a consideration. Like, what are your family needs? So I don't need that. Busing sometimes takes a little bit longer, but it's somebody else is actually doing the driving, so it takes all your stress out of your day, because you just sit there and you relax and go for the ride. That, of course, depends on the bus driver, but most of them are pretty good. And I'd have to say that riding the bus is, somewhat relaxing to start the day and relaxing to end the day. Some days not the best, but most days I'd have to say it is quite good. So that is a big lifestyle change, not having a car, and then switching to bike in the summer and walking extra when I need to. Again, that is also improving my health and saving me quite a bit of money. Now, the amount of money it saves me is things like plating my car, so insurance, gas, oil changes, tire changes, the list goes on. If you have a car, the more expensive the car, the more you're going to save. So even a cheaper car is going to cost you at least $100 for insurance a month, right? If not more. So that's more extreme, and I've just done that in the last year and a half. Wow. And then, okay, so one of the things that I never really used to do, and if you're trying to save money, some people are great at it, and I was always terrible. I'd always say if I wanted something, I'd go see how much it costs. If I could afford it, I'd buy it. But I really look for sales now, and I know I have some friends that really, really, really thrive on sales shopping, but it does make a difference. And so if you're somebody who's not into bargain hunting, you need to do it, and you need to look for those sales. And sometimes what I'll do when I go to the grocery store, if there's something on that I know I'm going to use and I see the price is lower, I'll get 2 or 3 or sometimes 4, depending on how much I can carry on my bike. So this is something that will change your lifestyle. It'll save you a few dollars here and there, but every time you do it, it's helping you, right? So it's something you use, price is lower, buy it. If the price is higher, don't buy it, just walk away from it. That sometimes gets hard because you're looking at it going, I need this, but do you need it, or do you want it because it's convenient to your lifestyle? There's lots of things you can cut out of your lifestyle. There's certain foods, there's certain products you can cut out. Again, I don't spend a lot of time grooming, so I stopped using hair product to style my hair, and maybe that is something I should want to do more, but I don't. So for me, styling my hair was not a big thing. So putting stuff in my hair is gone. That's a thing of the past, and it was an expense that I don't really need. So things like this you can look and find all throughout your life, through your household, through your everyday activities, and every little bit adds up. And I can tell you for certain that I'm saving myself hundreds of dollars every month based on lifestyle changes I've made, and I'm able to save money with a much lower income. And when I was making more money a couple of years back, about 5 years back, I was having the hardest time saving money. And so my income is probably about half what it was then, and I'm saving more money now than what I was with the higher income. So definitely things to think about as you are looking through your lifestyle. What things are you willing to change? What things can you change? What things can you cut back? What things can you compromise on, right? Especially with the online TV watching, right? So what compromises can you make to kind of budget that? Hope you'll click subscribe and like. I do have a link to my checklist for a budget, so it's for a basic budget, nothing serious, but if you've never budgeted before, check out that checklist and it can help you to get started with budgeting and things to think about. We'll see you for the next video. Thanks for joining me.